Okay. So we said that now we'll talk about conditions. So what is condition? So see, so far the way we've been doing programming is by executing commands in sequential manner, right? One after another. So we did a plus b or whatever comparison. So when we wrote those lines of code, it was executing line by line. Sometimes, okay, in fact, many times you don't want to execute sequentially, okay. I mean, flow is sequential. Flow is like waterfall, okay. You do first, then third, okay. But after third, you might be required to do sixth, not fourth or fifth, right? Depending upon a situation. So such scenarios, we deal using conditions, okay. So let's say you want to check students' marks and check if the student has passed or not, for example, right? So there are two possibilities, pass or did not pass, right? So you will check the marks or the average, and if average is more than the passing average, then you say you have passed, right? Or if the marks is not meeting the passing average, then you will say that you have failed, right? So this is how you actually check the condition, and your action, okay, is dependent on this condition, and your action is dependent on this condition, correct? So we use something called as if to check condition, right? If, and if is always followed by your comparison operator. Okay, so what is comparison operator?
Greater than, equals to.
Correct. So comparison operator will result you in either true or false.
True,
Correct?
false.
Right?
Yeah.
So if needs either true or false. So how do you achieve true and false? You achieve true and false using comparison operator, or you can achieve using logical operator. And what is logical operator? Is combination of comparison operator, right? When you have two conditions to check, three conditions to check. So we'll first we'll start with single condition. Okay, we are checking a simple single condition. Okay. So let's say I have, we'll calculate average later, but let's say for now, I'll say average equal to 40. Okay. Condition is if the student has got average greater than equal to 40, then you say pass. Otherwise, you say fail. Okay. So here, as I said, we are taking at a condition, and condition is given using if. So if your condition, that is average, okay, is greater than equal to 40. This is what we said, right? Okay. Now, if is followed by condition, and then when you're done with condition, you have to say colon. Colon indicates that now I'm going to do what if is supposed to do. I'm going to do what if is supposed to do. Okay. You hit enter. Okay. And I'm going to say print pass. Okay. Again, one more thing to look at. I have given space here. Okay. So far, we've been doing program where we did not give even one space. And I told you, even if you give one space, it'll give error because it was not required to give one space or even a single space. But now I have to give a space. It's called indentation. Okay. It's called indentation in programming language. Indentation, right? The purpose is to indicate that the purpose of indentation is to indicate that this print is inside if. The print is inside if. Okay. If I don't give this space, if I bring it here, then it looks like print is like any other, lines of code, and this will be executed irrespective of what if does. No. So I want this pass to be done or to be executed, okay, only if the condition is true. So we say average greater than equal to 40. Condition is true. We're checking the condition. We are checking the condition. Okay. Now, whatever you want to do, if the condition is true, right? Now this print pass will execute only when this condition, this entire thing is true. Between if till colon, if entire thing is true only, it will go inside if. If this becomes false, it will not go inside if, it will go out of if. Let's say I write here condition print thank you so much, right? Now print thank you so much is outside the block, right? So it will be printed anyway. But inside the block content will be printed only if the given condition is true. If it's true only, then it will go inside. Okay. Now, how much space to give? For Python, even one single space is good enough. Python is not saying that you have to give 10 spaces or 4 spaces or 3 spaces. Even one single space is enough for Python to know that it is indentation and you are going inside if. Okay, it is enough for Python, one single space. But it doesn't look good. Sometimes our eyes can get confused, right? If there's a single space or not, right? We can always get confused with if there is a space or not. So what we do, we give generally one tab space. We give one tab space. Okay. Now you can give any number of space. I told you for Python doesn't really matter. Okay. But for us to look at it, one single space is good enough. One tab is good enough, not single space. Tab is good for eyes. So that's why generally we follow one tab space. But Python does not mandate how many spaces to use, right? You can choose your own value. Okay. So once you do that, okay, the next step, let's say you are typing one more thing which is supposed to be inside if. So I'm saying print congratulations. One second. Okay, sorry, yeah. So let's say I say congratulations, TION, right? Congratulations. Okay. Now see, congratulations, I want to display if average is greater than 40. So if average is greater than 40, I want to display both pass and congratulations. So I told you for first line you have a choice, but for second line you don't have a choice. The number of spaces that you give for the first line, it has to be same number of spaces for second line also. Now here I cannot give, one extra space. No, see, already PyCharm is highlighting it with red. So for first line within a block, okay, we'll be writing a lot of blocks. Okay, this is just the beginning. If block, then we talk about loops, then we have loop block, then we talk about functions. So function block, class block. Okay, so you end up writing multiple blocks. So this is how it works. This is the condition. This is the way to define a block. Okay, and if this is true, if this makes sense, you go inside. When you go inside, you have to indicate with tab. Okay, you have to indicate with tab. Now thing is, I told you for first line you have a choice how many spaces you want to give. You can give, for Python doesn't really matter, but the spaces that you give in the first, you have to match same spaces for second, third, fourth, subsequent lines of code. The reason is to tell that all these lines of code belong to this block. Okay, these multiple lines of code belongs to this block. Yes. Okay. Now when we run it, okay, so obviously you will get no, this is not run. Okay, pass congratulations because average is 40. Now if I make it 30, this conditions becomes false and this will not get executed. You see, because since condition became false, these lines of code did not get executed, and then directly thank you so much is getting executed. You see this? Okay. Okay, so this is how you write a condition, check a condition. This is for one condition, right? So okay, what if this is false, correct? If this is true, you will execute it. This is fine. But what if this is false? If this is false, okay, right now we don't have anything to handle, for false condition. You can say else. Okay, the else means if the condition with if is false. Can you go on mute? I'm getting, yeah, thank you. Congratulations, spelling is wrong. And why did you say total marks? If you are saying total marks, Mona Lisa, wait, let me paste what she has done it. So you are saying total marks, first of all, right? Now, then you're checking total. If you are saying total marks, you should be checking total, right? Not total marks, right? Not total. Yes or no? Mona Lisa.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there should not be any space here. You cannot give any space here. If is still part of the main. Okay.
Yeah, that's why
And
I got the answer wrong.
lot
Yeah.
of error, you'll get lot of error. Okay. So, okay. And then, yes, print is inside if. Then it's fine.
So
Okay.
Yes.
one question here.
Yeah.
Swapnil, is this variable name is a case sensitive? Like
Yes.
capital
Yes.
T, small
Yes.
t should
Yes.
be
Yes. Yes. Yes.
okay.
Okay. It is case sensitive. Yeah.
Like as it is, we need to
Yes.
put no.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are all very sensitive to our names, right? So is Python. Python is also very sensitive to name.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So if average greater than 40, okay, pass. And if this is false, right? In case of if getting false condition. In case of if getting false condition, then you come here. You say print, no, you have failed. Print, try again. No, whatever, right? So now in this case, when you run it, okay, you have failed, try again, because your if condition is false. Okay, if condition is false, so you have to move to else. Sounds good? Okay. Now, this is fine, but some situation where you will have multiple conditions to handle, right? So for example, I want to print, okay, if average is greater than 90, I want to print, okay, let me put a comment. I want to print grade A. Okay, average greater than 80 and between 90, right? Average 80 to 90, I want to say grade B. Okay, between average 70 to 80, I need to say grade C. Average 60 to 70, you say grade D. Okay, average 50 to, okay, 60, I want to say grade E. And average less than 50, we say 40 passing mark, right? Okay, so average 40 to 50, we say grade F. Okay, and average less than 40, we'll say grade G, right? So let's say we have so many conditions to check. Okay, if we have only one condition, if is used. If we have two conditions where, you know, so do something if true and do something else if not true, if else. But here, this is else condition, right? This is else condition. If nothing works, then do this. But each of these has a condition, correct? So in this case, what we do is, in this case, what do? We have to write if, right? But see, block can have only one if. You can't have more than more than one if. You can't have two or more if. So always the first condition is if, last condition is else, in between everything else is ELIF. In between everything it is ELIF. Okay, first condition is if, last condition is else, and in between everything is ELIF. Okay, so in this case, how many ELIF we have to write?
5.
5. First if, then 5 ELIF, and then last else. Okay, so because we have 7 conditions, right? So let's start writing. Okay, so I'm going to say AVG equal to 50. Okay, let's say we'll put AVG equal to 50. Now I'm checking if AVG greater than equal to 90. I'm going to say print grade. Okay, I'm going to copy this so that I can paste them later. Grade A. Okay, then you say ELIF. ELIF stands for else if. Okay, else, but again you have if condition here. So ELIF AVG greater than equal to 80. Print grade B. Okay, ELIF AVG greater than equal to 70. You say print grade C. Okay, ELIF AVG greater than equal to 80. Hey, what am I doing? 60, right?
60. Yeah.
You say print grade D. ELIF AVG greater than equal to 50. Print grade E. ELIF AVG greater than equal to 40. Print grade F. Okay. else. Print, oops, I have copied, right? Grade G. Okay, so this is how you have multiple conditions here. Now, how does it work? So first you check with if. Okay, if average is greater than equal to 90. Okay, if average greater than equal to 90. The advantage of writing if elif else block is, in this block only one of the conditions will be executed. Okay, only one condition will be executed. Okay, not more than one. So let's say if I make it 90, for example, this is true. Average is more than equal to 80. This becomes true. So this should print grade A. Correct. Now this is also true, isn't it? I'm checking average greater than equal to 80. Is 90 greater than equal to 80? Yes.
Yes.
But this will not execute. First matching condition, that's all in a if block. If block means when you're giving if name. Yeah, instead of elif, if I had used if, then this would have also been checked and this would have become true. But advantage of using if elif is that okay, only one condition of the entire block is executed. Only one condition of the entire block is executed. You don't execute more than one condition in a if elif else block. Okay, so it's like each of these, when you see if, it is like a gate. It's like gate to your society, right? How many societies we have? Number of societies is same as the number of if. Okay, so here, though we have so many conditions, still society is only one, right? We have only one society. Did you understand? Okay, so even though the second condition is also true, only first condition will be called. Okay, only first condition will be called. Now, if I make it 80, then what happens? This is false. So it will check the condition if here. Okay, if average greater than equal to 90, answer is false. If this is false, it goes to the next condition, checks here. Is it true or false? It is true. So it will print grade B. You see that? Now again it will come out and go to print. It will not even check any other condition. Now if I make it, let's say 70 or 60, for example. So first condition is this. Is it more than 90? More than equal to 90? No, false. Checks here. This is also false. Comes here. This is also false. Comes here. Oh, this is true. It will print grade D and that's it, and comes out. Okay. If I make it 30, it will check this condition. False. 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 Okay. This is also false. So finally, else will be called. How many steps will it take here? Let's say our program is only this much. How many steps will it take to print grade F? So it will take, this is your first step, second step, third step, fourth step, fifth step, sixth step, and then finally in seventh step, it will take, let's say if every step takes 1 second, okay, if every step takes 1 second, it will take 6-7 seconds to print it, compared to if you give 90 will take only 1 second to print. Okay, if I'm saying, okay, it's taking very less time, right? Microseconds. But assume that if every step took 1 second, this would take 7 seconds to print. This would take only 1 second to print. So printing grade G is 7 times more slow than printing grade A. Okay, we're not going to discuss much into this, but the performance of program is evaluated on 2 parameters: time parameter and space parameter. How much time does it take to execute, and how much space does it take to save? Now, if you are doing programming like IoT program, right? IoT you have to program in a chip. On laptop, you have TBs of space. It doesn't matter if you have to write 10 extra lines, okay? 1 KB doesn't matter. But if you're talking about chip programming, they have limited space, right? You can't write huge program there. So there it is important that how short is your program. So if you have to know, how to write better programming, efficient programming, okay, it is in terms of time. We say time complexity and space complexity. Space complexity means how much space does your program take on hard disk. Time is how much time does it take to execute. So in this case, we call it as best case and worst case. Best case is when average is more than equal to 90. That means you take only 1 unit or 1 second to execute. Worst case is when you take the maximum time to execute. So when you read about the current time complexity of any algorithm, they'll mention average case, best case, and worst case. Average case is sum of best and worst by 2, right? So 1 plus 7, 8 by 2, 4. 4 is the average, performance of this. Best performance is when value is more than 90, it takes only 1 unit. Okay, worst is when value is less than 40. Now, let's say if you have large data to handle and most of the students are failed candidate, okay, then you might want to rethink the strategy of developing this. So in that case, what I can do is I can check, let's say average, right, equal to 30. Same program I'm rewriting. So I'll check if AVG less than 40. Okay, there we check greater than. I'm checking less than here, right? Greater than, equal to, less than. So I'll say print, okay, grade G, right? ELIF. Okay, if average, okay, ELIF, right? If average is less than 50. Okay, let me copy this. Okay, grade F. And tell me if I'm doing wrong. Okay, tell me if anything is wrong here. If average less than 60, print gav E. ELIF average less than 70, you say print grade D. ELIF average less than 80, okay, let's say grade C. ELIF average less than 90, you say print grade B. And you say else print grade A. Does it work correctly? If my average is 30, okay, grade G, true, and then the program stops, right? So 30 is grade G and stopped. If I make it 50, okay, is 50 less than 50? No. Is 50 less than 60? Yes. This is the first condition to be executed, right? So you get grade E, right? If you get 90, all the conditions become false and it goes to else condition, you get grade A. Right? Same program, we did it in reverse order. Okay, let's say you have prior information that most of the students have failed. then you will probably develop this way, because you want program to run faster, right? So in this case, your failed conditions will be checked in the first itself, right? So overall time taken by your program will come down. So you can do it, okay, in both ways. Whatever way you are comfortable with, you can use. Makes sense? So we have seen if, we have seen if else, we have seen if, elif, else. Okay. Now let's say, like, see, this is also very similar, right? These two programs are very similar. Means if less than, greater than 40, pass, congratulations. So each of these should be like pass, congratulations, right? Except G here, correct? So now we are going to merge two if conditions together. So see, else merging is easy, because this is also less than 40 and this is also less than 40. So I can simply say here, okay, let's say if you want to print before this, it's fine. See, you see the output, right? There will not be any change in the output. Okay, so you paste it here. So first this will be printed, then grade G will be printed, right? This is what happening here, right? And then grade A or G, whatever. Okay. Now you see this 40 has to be, okay, the pass congratulations has to be common for all of these, isn't it? So what I'll do is, okay, I'm going to merge these two together, right? So what I'll do, instead of checking if average is more than 90, I will check if average greater than equal to 40. If yes, then of course I'll print these two, right? And then what I'll do is, I will move all these inside this if. Oops, here this also should be moved. Okay. So see, if average is more than 40, okay, then I'm checking if average is more than 90, 80, 70, okay. And so this is the if and this is the last else inside. Okay, so here I can directly say else. I don't have to check average more than 40, because this if is true, that means average is more than 40. Average cannot be less than 40. So if it is not more than 50, obviously it means it is less than 50 and more than 40, because I'm checking here. This is main gate, this is second gate, this is the first check, this is second check. So in first check, let's say you are entering into a stadium to watch a match, right? Stadium will have many gates or many stands, right? And then let's say you have one main gate. So at the main gate, you're only checking if you have a valid pass or not. And then for every stand, you have a check. Do you belong to grade A stand or B or C or D stand? Right? So I'm saying if average more than 40, do this, okay? And then I'm checking all this. Okay, and here the more than 40 became else, because obviously it can't be less than 40 here. Okay, you have valid pass only, then you have entered. And so else means none of this is true and you are going to else.
So you are giving two different print condition here. First, if it is
wait,
greater.
hold on.
Okay.
Don't say print condition. Condition is different,
Sorry,
print is different.
whatever.
Yes. So
Print
just say
statements.
conditions. Print statements.
Statement. Yeah. So you're saying print pass if it is greater than or equal to 40. At the end, you're saying print grade F. So it will all will be printed.
No. See, grade F is inside this if, isn't it?
Okay.
Not inside this F. See the indentation, right? Indentation will tell you which is inside what. This if is inside this if, correct? Because I gave indentation here. Just like this print and if, it is inside this if. Okay. Now this print is inside this if. So this if will be executed only if this is true. This if will be executed only if this is true, right? If this is true, this will be executed, isn't it? Now, if this is true, only this will be executed. So to print grade A, you're checking two conditions. First,
Okay.
is it more than 40? Yes. Then you check, is it more than 90? Yes. Then you print grade A. Okay, this is
Got it.
called as nested if inside if. I can have one more if. Let's say if average is more than 95, you want to award some medal. So I'm going to say if average greater than equal to 95, print you win president medal. Right? So this is third condition, right? And see, if your average can be more than 95 only if your average is more than 90. So this is the best place to put in. I can't put it here, here, or here, here, correct? Because 95, you have a chance of getting 95 only if you get at least 90. If you don't get 90, then obviously you won't get 95. But if you got 90, then probably you can get 95 also. So I'm checking condition inside this 90. Okay, and this I'm checking inside. So if you have got more than 40 only, you should be checked. Now in this case, okay, I told you when when we did not have this conditions, to check if average is 30, we took 8 steps, right? 7 steps. Now in this case, if average is 30, this condition is false, isn't it? It will straight away come here. So within 2 steps, you are printing. So, as much as possible, we prefer nested if, okay? As much as possible, we prefer nested if because that's the more efficient way of doing programming instead of having multiple checks, right? You'd want one person to check you and tell you this is where you go. You don't want multiple checks. Okay, first you go get in, then you say, okay, left, right, you have a check, or go left, then on the left again you have a. So we don't like to have that, right? We prefer this so that if this is true, then you don't have to check this, no. No need to check this. So you're removing some condition, some portion out of this. Okay. If you have got 70, 80, 60, then why to check 95 again? You don't have to check for 90 if you have got 80, 60, 70. So only if you get 90, only you need to check for 95. Okay. So this is how you can have if inside a if. We call it as nested if. Okay. And you can have any number of nested if. I can have one more here. Let's say if you score 100, you give something else, you add the name to the book record, right? You can say your name is being added to the Guinness Book of World Record, right? So you can have conditions inside conditions inside conditions inside condition. This condition to be even executed, even to test, this has to be true. Even for this to be even tested, this has to be true. If this is true only, you will check this. If true only, you will check this. Okay. So this is how we implement nested if. We'll stop here today. Tomorrow we'll take some examples and we'll talk about nested if. Okay. So tomorrow again, we'll talk about if only.
Okay.